This is a little weird, but I have attempted to get a good condition small block Chevrolet for my van for the last 2 years, and it hasn't worked out. I parted out a car. I had a perfectly good running low mile small block Chevy 350 trans, ready to go. I wrapped it up tight, put a tarp on it, put a piece of wood on it, put a piece of tarp or another tarp on top of that, and then it sat for about 2 years on a shelf behind my garage. I pulled it inside. I was ready to put the intake on and finally get around to putting it in my van. I think my skid steer is rolling. I was going to put it in the van. Pulled the old intake off. Noticed a little bit of rust. Started digging into it. Found that 2 cylinders, even with it all wrapped up, 2 cylinders were completely ruined. They were so rusted that it rusted a hole almost completely through the cylinder wall. So, fast forward 6 months from then, got a box van. It had been sitting since 2007 because they couldn't figure out why it wouldn't run right. I got it running. I got it running good off the factory fuel injection. No smoke. It would sit there and idle. You could rev it up. 0 smoke. Smooth, idled nice. Nothing wrong. I said, well, I'm going to do a compression test to it before I take it out of the box truck because that's a lot of work. And if it was anything's wrong with it, then it would have been for nothing. So, pulled the spark plugs out. 4 electrodes were completely crushed. Don't know how it ran. Started doing compression tests. This is in a previous video. 4 cylinders were testing pretty good, and then I had one that was about 60 or 70 psi higher than the rest of them, and then I had one that made almost no pressure at all. Stuck a bore scope in there and something came apart. Spark plug, something happened, and maybe a piece of valve, but it broke part of the piston and completely ruined that cylinder. So I was down another motor yet again. This is kind of weird, but a friend of mine gave me this. He doesn't know the condition of it. It came out of a boat. It's a Mercruiser. It is a 383. Unknown condition. I am crossing my fingers and my toes that there's nothing wrong with this. There was 2 motors pulled out of the same boat. And when they were pulled out, one was taken apart. This one was set on a shelf. They took the time to make it fit on this pallet. So I'm really, really hoping that all of that time shows that this one's good. So in this video, I'm going to be stripping all this down, checking it over, pulling a compression test on it. Hopefully I don't find anything crazy. But, and again, it's my luck, so who knows. Let's pull the distributor cap off. The water neck's been pulled off. It's kind of nasty in there, but it's a boat motor again, so not the best coolant. It's not the best on how it treats the motor, but let's see what this thing looks like. And again, I'll do a walk around of the van. Purchased the van about 6 years ago from a friend of mine. I've been looking for a shorty van for a long time. This one's in pretty decent shape, but the motor's blown up. Had a V6 in it, so with a 383 stroker, with a healthy cam, good carburetor, headers, and removing all this boat stuff, really, really, really hope that this is okay. But who knows. So stick around, comment, like, subscribe, and Let's see what this thing looks like. Start of a new project. Hopefully. Really, really hope. So here's the van that the 383 will be going in. I've been using it for storage for a while, but besides all the crap in it, it's in pretty decent shape. It has a little bit of rust popping right there. There's that scratch, of course, in the rear, but usually these things are ate up all the way across. There's a couple of bubbles, but it's not terrible, at least not yet. It's got a blown up V6 in it right now. This side looks pretty decent. A little bit right there. But overall, it's in pretty good shape. And this little thing with a 383 should run pretty good. This thing doesn't weigh that much. These little vans, actually I think all of the ones in this body style, they're unibody. So it's relatively light. The only thing that I'm not sure about yet, I have some 1-ton axles that I was thinking about making the van kind of like a Quigley style 4-wheel drive, huge tires. But I also have a brand new 3-pump setup and some pretty good looking 14-inch spokes, so that's pretty tempting. I could build a 4-link for it and cut up the front end a little bit and have that thing sit on the ground, but I don't know. I keep going back and forth on what I want to do. So many possibilities, but for now, game plan is get that thing stripped the rest of the way down, check it, compression, everything, go over every bit of it, make sure it's okay. I'll have to order an intake, and yeah, I just want to get it running and driving so I have something else cool to drive for now. So let's get back to tearing this thing down. Alright, manifolds are pulled off, and so far everything looks good. Inside the water neck looks really rough. Hopefully that's not a sign of anything bad, but everything else is looking pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and yank the intake off and some of this random boat stuff. Well, besides the water jackets being disgusting, it looks brand new in there. extremely surprised of what I've found so far. This thing is oddly clean. Like, it doesn't really make any sense how clean it is. So everything is set up and ready to go from my makeshift compression test here. I have a Group 31 battery hooked to some crappy jumper cables, hooked to the starter and the ground. I have my power probe. I'm sending power probe to the signal wire on the starter. And hopefully these crappy jumper cables don't catch on fire while I'm doing this, because they're pretty rough. So I am fully expecting to have a couple cylinders that are high. Hopefully not crazy high, but within reason. There's probably some that are high. I imagine that the rings are probably sticking. The spark plugs are out of it, so I mean, it's just how it works. Moisture gets in there, causes stuff to stick together. As long as I don't have a cylinder with like 20 psi, I think I'll be fine. If they're all within like early hundreds up to 200-ish, I think it'll be fine, because stuff sticks, and that at least shows me it's healthy enough and the head gaskets aren't totally wasted, and yeah. So 155? Yeah, something like that. Alright, I did a compression test, and this cylinder's low, this cylinder's high, those are sort of close. So I did a leak down test, and it's definitely bypassing, so I think I need to pull the heads off and look through this thing. And it might just need, hopefully it just needs head gaskets and just freshened up. But so far everything else looks brand new, so really hoping it's just a head gasket problem. Just cause I'll go through and do a compression test on this side. Well, this side's a little bit more promising, but I still think I'm going to take it apart and see what's going on in here. course, there's a little bit of that little haze of rust here and there, but I mean, it's kind of to be expected. This thing's been sitting for years, I'm assuming, but everything looks good. Like a little bit of moisture here and there. Little tiny bit there. But you can't actually feel that. You see it, but you can't feel it at all. So, really not bad. It's at least worth rebuilding, because the last two motors that I've had, not worth rebuilding at all. They were 100% screwed. This is at least worth it, in my mind. So far, everything looks pretty good. The cylinder walls are in decent shape. The pistons look good. The heads look great. I'm thinking that maybe it was just some stuff sticking from it sitting around, because it's been sitting around for nobody knows how long, because the guy I got it from didn't know, because he got it from in a trade, and who knows. So cylinder walls look good, heads look good, valves look good. I think this one's actually worth rebuilding. The last two I had weren't worth rebuilding at all. Not even a little bit. One was rotted halfway through the cylinder wall, and the other one, the engine tried to consume a piston. So yeah, the van should be on the road pretty soon. I'll have to pick up some accessories. I might even have the stuff laying around because I'm a hoarder. So yeah, comment, like, subscribe, check back in, and hopefully you'll see some progress on this amongst the other 1,000 projects I got going on. I think in the next day or so, I gotta move all this crap out of the way. I gotta get the skid steer in here to fix it, and I gotta fix my truck. So stick around, subscribe, maybe watch me work on some junk. I don't know. I'm gonna go inside and go to bed now. I'm exhausted. This is the giant pile of Mercury stuff. It's a lot. I bet you that's easily 400 pounds worth of stuff. Those manifolds are heavy. That intake manifold, I thought it was plastic from the way that it's painted, is very heavy. But yeah. So yeah. Heavy.